Hello, dear guests, and welcome to the second episode of the ALR podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the race in Vietnam, mainly focusing around Tier 3. I hope you enjoy it and have fun. Tell us in the comments what you would want to see in the next one, and yeah, let's get on. This time we are joined by our tier 3 driver, yesterday's P2 from the race, called
Provisionally.
provisionally Logi Bear. We should have been joined by Big Bambino, but he's not here, so we're just gonna talk to Logi today. Am I pronouncing your name right? I am.
Logie Bear.
Logi Bear.
Yes,
Okay,
or-
Logi Bear. Sorry for that.
That's alright. Everyone gets it wrong anyway, so I'm used to it.
It's Logi Bear with us, and we are going to be focusing around tier 3 today, mainly, but we're going to have a look at the other tiers as well. So, let's start. On tonight's podcast, we are going to see the standings of the tier 3, and then we're going to discuss yesterday's race, and then we're just going to talk about the next races and about the Formula 2 Cup coming up. And yeah, let's start with the standings. These are the standings. You, Logan, are in P7 currently with 49 points, but you've missed out on like 4 or 5 races.
Yes, I joined mid-season to replace a driver who pulled out. But, I'm pretty proud of how I've done for just 4 races, finishing in the points. In fact, top 7 in each of the races, which is pretty impressive. But, there's halfway through the season, there's 8 races to go. You never know what can happen from there. Maybe the whole league could change by the end of it.
Yeah, things change quick in racing and in league racing especially. But you've had some good races since you've joined, and I can't lie. I firstly thought you were just gonna be like fighting with me for the points because I've had some mad unluck and I'm used to it right now.
Especially last time.
Yeah, especially last time.
You were following me for like the last lap, and I thought, get away from me! You're supposed to be lapped. I'm trying to finish the race as high as possible.
Yeah, I pitted on the last lap for softs because I was already a lap down, no point for me, and like let's just go have fun. And I pitted for softs, and yeah, almost unlocked myself.
Yeah, and it was funny that the commentator, I forgot his name,
Matt,
giving you drive of the day just for pure bravery, just staying out there and finishing the race, never giving up.
Let me just summarize my race. So I start from P7. By the end of turn 1, I'm P5. And then I go on the second straight, and I get taken out by Chu or Jim. They were fighting, so I just got some damage. Then the VSC comes out. Then by the end of the VSC, I get a drive-through penalty for speeding, whilst my delta was positive. So I have to replace my wing. Then I drive a lap. Then I serve my drive-through. Then I get 5-second time penalty for cutting a corner. Although I didn't really cut, I just extended track limits. And then I got wing damage on a straight, and I was like on a straight. I didn't touch a wall, I was just on a straight. So I had to pit again. That was my race yesterday.
And my race qualifying wasn't that great. On my last flying lap, as I was just about to launch from the final corner, I crashed into the wall. I think that wall's built incorrectly. I think it's much different in real life. And it ruined my lap, so I had to go with the second lap I set, I think. Because I set 1 on mediums and then 1 on softs. I was supposed to set 2, but the last one was botched up. So I had to start down in 13th, just like in Abu Dhabi. But like Abu Dhabi, I finished 3rd that race somehow.
Yeah.
But I would have won if I didn't get penalized. And the same thing happened here. So on the start, you may have not noticed that I was like pulling back from all the others. I was very slow going into turn one. I wanted to avoid all of the carnage because I knew it was going to be a bloodbath out there. Considering the wet weather, it can be very wet in those areas in that time as well. So there was
Yeah.
like little to no grip at the start, even with the wettest of wet tires.
Yeah.
But
There was
so my
zero grip.
so my strategy was to pretty much punish those who couldn't keep it on track long enough. No offense. It was still tough to do. Race driver 22 was like really struggling out there.
Yeah,
I
he
heard.
was really struggling. I think he's not used to driving without brake assist, and in the wet it's even harder for him.
Brake assist is probably the only one I don't use.
Yeah, I mean brake assist and steering assist. I don't know how you can use it. It slows you down somehow. I have a feeling
Besides,
something's not right when I use those two.
those assists are banned.
Yeah, they are banned. Braking
Um,
assist, steering assist, DRS assist.
yeah, I wouldn't use those anyway. I know how to use those. It's just the where to brake, and I find it really like difficult to brake and without ABS or like accelerate without traction with a controller. Maybe if I get a wheel, I might switch to it off along with automatic gears. Automatic manual gears are not my specialty, so
Yeah, I'm driving without traction control. Sometimes hard, sometimes not. Depends on the weather mainly. So
yeah.
let's.
I was just looking at the. Oh, go on then.
Yeah, you can finish your sentence. No problem.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the race and I saw that Chu and Jim. I know Chu well, and he just rammed into. I don't know what really happened, but Chu rammed Gunnar into the wall seemingly, and I didn't see that incident, but I saw it on the live stream afterwards. I was just focusing on going from last to as far as I could, really.
Yeah, I can tell you what happened there. Chu firstly touched me, and then had to back off on the right side, and on the right side was Jim, and then they touched. That's what happened, pretty much.
Oh yeah, you were in that too. You were the front row seat for that. Jeez.
Yeah, I was like P5, and then he just touched me. I almost spun. I hit the wall. I lost my wing, and then they both collided.
And the VSC came out just
Yeah.
as I passed Grosjean.
Grosjean. Let's just say Grosjean. it's Grosjean.
And then I got past Chu and Jim, apparently because they went off. And then I got past.
Yeah.
Was it Mikey who made a mistake? So I was up to P11 already, or P9, because some of the guys pitted, including you, Herminator.
Yeah. I was the first one to go onto the slicks, by the way, and I had a good time, honestly, with a broken wing to be able to stay out and to drive on the hards in somewhat wet conditions. It was pretty good.
Yeah. As for me, I just played it safe with the tires. I ran a stint on wets, 2 on inters, and the last 5 laps were on softs.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like go out too early because I feel that I would lose a little time. So I went to pit just as Shabs and all the other top runners went into it. Because I know Loth Alejo, who in the Mercedes was reserve, he pitted very early, I see, but not as early as you, Terminator.
Yeah, not as early as me. So the constructor standings are here. We have the Williams. Jim the Gooner, he is carrying Williams with 184 points for the team. Dangerous Dove didn't compete in this race, I believe.
No, he did not.
And then we have Haas with Shabs and Stephen/Brady with 125 points. Then we have the Racing Point team where Shabi is carrying my back so hard. I only have 12 points, so he has 88. And then we have Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, Mercedes, AlphaTauri, Renault, and Alfa Romeo. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Mac Attack are pretty much even.
Yeah.
But Mac Attack wasn't in the last race.
Yeah, he wasn't in the last race. Yeah. Let's see the battle for the championship, how it's developed, the top 4. So we have Jim is the light gray, Shabs is the dark gray, Shabi is blue, and Eli is white. So you can see Jim had not the best race in Austria, but then he just was so consistent and so fast that he got the points. In Abu Dhabi he didn't compete, he just left. But yeah, he's been pretty consistent. And Shabs had a 3 race no points streak, but then came back in the last one. What do you think about the top 4, or can you join the top 4 maybe?
If I put the work in, I might be able to challenge, but it's too early to say for now, I think, because the top 4, look at them, they're, what have we got, 80, 119. If Eli has a good week and all the others mess up, he might have a chance at winning this. So don't rule out Shabi, don't rule out Eli. Actually, don't rule out whoever in 5th place is, because it could be all to play for by the end of it. There's only 8 races to go and a maximum of 208 points available.
Yeah.
Well, 25 is the fastest lap in the race.
It's pretty tight up here.
Yes.
And it's pretty clean racing in Tier 3, to be honest. So.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, there were not that many retirements early
Only
on.
2. Race driver because he cooked his tires as he lost it, and then Larry because he spun, and that's it, I believe. Grosjean maybe? He is the UNF, yes. So 3
there was
retirements.
a couple. There was also a couple of incidents in front of me. I think it was Lasso and Lorenzo. Let me find it. I'm watching the stream as I speak.
Yep.
It involved Shabi and Lasso, and Lorenzo had to get out of the way. And I pretty much went ahead of Lasso, and I was following, what's his name? Agalos? I was following Agalos, and I think Shabi as well. So
yeah,
I had a pretty good battle with them two, especially Agalos. Can't really, and then they had a battle themselves at the tight right hand corner.
Yeah, fun fact, my race was so boring that on every straight I watched this on the stream and I wrote comments because it's a long straight and I don't have anything to do. So yeah, I just watched the stream and drove.
I don't understand why they have the long straights there. They could have just cut them down. That's probably what's going to give Vietnam a negative reception in real life. But you never know. I mean, look, Baku was just on the calendar for 4 years. It produces some good racing.
Yeah, the problem with Vietnam, I believe, is that you can only pass on the straights. Into the corners, there is no passing. The first corner, it's like really tight and somewhat blind, so you can't really focus there. Then the after the second straight, it's high. The curves are so high that you can't go side by side. And on the long straight after that, it's a tight hairpin, so no way they're gonna fit 2 cars there cleanly.
Yeah, the first corner reminds me of China, but in reverse.
Yeah.
It's just awkward, and honestly, I don't like it. It can ruin a lot of people's lap times. I got a penalty on that corner, and if I didn't get a penalty, I would have won the race.
Oh.
Even without Alexos's 10-second penalty, which is under review, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen that.
If it's approved, I'll be dropped down to 3rd, but I'll still take a 3rd over that, really, to be honest, if it's out of fairness.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the race. So, can you tell me? I mean, we already talked about the race, but can you tell me how satisfied you are with your performance? Like
To be honest,
exactly.
I wasn't really expecting to finish that high up the order.
Hmm?
I was just, because of how wet it was, I was just focused on finishing the race. Uh, just like I failed to in France in the first sprint race I competed in,
Yeah.
where I spun off because it was so wet and I couldn't keep the car under control. Uh, I was actually thinking that it was going to be a wet race, so I set up just in case it was. Considered my strategy from there.
Yeah. Wet races are not fun for overtaking, to be honest.
Hmm.
You can just hope the guys in front of you crash out and then you gain positions.
Yeah, it's not really racing. It's more survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
Might as well, might as well have it be a reality show where if you crash, you're out of the show.
Yeah. If you crash, you're done. If you don't crash, you'll probably get some points. And if you get points, you move up the field and then you win.
Yeah.
That's quite how it works.
I was honestly, I was honestly surprised that Shabs crashed at the penultimate corner.
Yeah.
He had horrible damage, and I'm actually surprised that he actually got back to win the race. He was on fire on the last lap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
seen that.
I'm pretty impressed with that, even though it cost me the win because of that penalty. He had none.
Yeah. He had none.
I honestly thought I won the race because I knew that Billy had at least a penalty or two more than I did. And I know Alejos had a penalty, which, to be honest, I've looked at it and it's kind of unfair. But then again, was he falling back? Was he keeping the car under control? Should have he cut the corner? Those questions are down to the stewards. I honestly don't want to be the person to judge because, in all honesty, it's not my feeling. But looking at that incident, I think it could be removed. So fair play if it is removed because Alejos worked really hard, especially going out in softs very early. It's a brave thing to do.
Yeah, Billy's here from tier 2, I believe. He doesn't have time on the Thursdays now, so he has to join on the Sundays. He's
Uh,
he's been performing pretty well, to be honest. The
I'm
yesterday.
I'm gonna try and get higher in tier two. Like try and do laps as good as possible so that I can get into maybe tier two because the tier system. I think it's more prestige at the top level, and I want to get at the top level. But it's gonna take some time.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a quote from Chu. May I just say, big up to how do you pronounce this? Can you help?
Otaku Logan.
OtakuLogan for the last 2 races, looking mighty, my man. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised and humbled that fellow drivers are crediting it because when you start out, you want to make a good first impression.
Yeah.
My first appearance was in the sprint league week 3, I think it was. Yeah, week 3. It was in France and Britain. I didn't do that well in France, as you may have heard. It was a dry start, and then as soon as we got on the grid, it started to rain.
Yeah, I watched the race.
And as soon as I got to the it started to like rain heavily, and as soon as I got to the that tight corner at the start,
Yeah, yeah.
as soon as I braked too late and I rammed into Schultz, and I felt really bad for Schultz.
Yeah, we discussed Schultz last race.
I'm gonna be honest, for the tier 3 drivers, it's much tougher in the sprint race because you've got to think fast, and you're also against much faster drivers. In the first qualifying I did, I was 4 seconds off Matthias, who was in the last podcast. And,
Yeah.
like Tambi, who is like really good at this game.
Yeah, I'll be joining you tomorrow in the Sprint League.
Hey, nice.
Is it Singapore and Bahrain? Yeah.
Yes, Singapore and Bahrain.
Singapore, I'm okay there. Kinda. Bahrain, I hate the track. Absolutely.
Funnily enough, that's the first person I know that's hated Bahrain. Singapore is very twisty and very testing. If you make a mistake, it could cost you. And that's the beauty of racing, I guess. And
Yeah, I mean, I hate Bahrain on this game. On Project Cars or something like that, on the mods, it's amazing because the curves are better. These ones are way too high. You lose so much speed when you go on them.
yeah, and I was actually practicing Singapore earlier. I think I got a 136 something something, and you know, and then for some reason the leaderboard didn't show it because this game is weird and cocked up.
Yeah, this game is weird.
I don't know how it's taken 11 years to fix glitches. I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been F1 2009 on the Wii. I have that game. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, they are focusing, I believe, too much on the single player. I mean, rightly so. I play single player really much, and I enjoy it. But you've got to... It's the small bugs that ruin the online racing. Like, the strict rules, they are way too strict, because, if I got a penalty in Canada when I run wide in the hairpin. I actually lost 2 seconds there every time, and then I get a warning every time as well.
Yeah, I got a penalty for going wide at the first corner at Vietnam, so but I'm not going to contest it because people would think it'd be stupid.
Yeah, and like in the spectator mode, the leaderboards are someone like really weird.
Especially in the first laps. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know why it does that. I just ignore it. If I were hosting a thing, I would just take it off for like the first few laps and then put it back on, maybe, but I'm not the host. What am I talking about?
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the race review. We're gonna review some thingies that happened yesterday. And we're firstly gonna watch the clip, and then you tell me how you experienced this and what do you think about the racing that's shown here on the stream, actually. So, you ready?
Yeah.
So, let's go.
Alright. So, as I said before, I was starting 13th, and I thought, oh gosh, this is going to be carnage. I might as well back off and leave it to them. Or it gets glitchy here, I noticed.
Yeah.
As you can see at the front, they're all trying not to spin.
Choose
Lasso
running wide.
Disconnected.
Yeah,
Lasso disconnected, which kind of sucks for him, but
So
it's not my
here you
fault
can
his
see
internet
the
sucks.
incident with Jim and Chu and me. So I'm here on the left, and then Chu's coming here. He's touching me, and then he has to back off, and then he hits Jim. You see? And that's what's happened, actually.
And I was just a race driver made a mistake, so that was my first move. And then I moved past Grosjean just as the safety car came out. It was in the braking zone, outbraking him, just as the virtual safety car came out.
Yeah, this is the start of the race. It was pretty carnage, to be honest. We had a VSC straight out, a few broken wings.
And I'm surprised that nobody was eliminated, to be honest.
Yeah, my only move was on race driver today with a pit stop more than him. I still managed to catch him, but then he DNF'd. He was my only racing partner yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm P6 here, and then I have to box 2 times. Firstly for a drive-through, then for a wing change, and then I'm just way down. So let's go for the next one. This is lap 7. We are on board with White Little Billy and Lasso, and you are in front. Yeah, it's just when you go through this tricky, twisty section, like 4 cars and side by side partially. So just
Yeah,
tell
and the
me,
spray as
yeah,
well. That's also a factor. Couldn't see, couldn't see stuff through there really, honestly.
yeah, just tell me how you felt here, like going side by side with someone in the rain through Sector 3. It must have been awful.
It's kind of nerve wracking, but you've got to be very aware, especially in Sector 3, because that's like Austin's S's,
Yeah,
maybe Suzuka's, but they've got walls, or pretty much the walls are lava there. If you touch the walls, you're gonna get some damage, and that's the last thing you want in a race like this. Like, it's an Angelos there. I think he almost spun, and I tried to avoid it, and it was like a train of drivers desperately trying to get ahead of each other.
yeah, and then here you came into the pits, I believe, and you almost crashed into someone. Like you
I
really had to slow
think,
down.
yeah, it was lap 8, or lap 7, I'm not
Yeah,
sure,
that
but
bad.
yeah, lap 7, because
Yeah,
Shabs
yeah,
just
yeah.
crossed the
Shabs,
line,
shabs. Yeah,
and I was it was really difficult to tell if when they were going to slow down, because it is wet, and the braking time is much different compared to the dry. So I was quite lucky not to hit Aglos in front of me.
yeah.
Uh,
And just tell me, how satisfied were you with your setup through the rain?
uh, I honestly didn't change my setup for the race in Vietnam because of from dry to wet. I just felt like, should I stick with this one? I'm not sure what to do in the wet, because I'm honestly don't have much experience in the rain,
Hmm.
and I'm not that guy that likes to do setups. I know, I know if it's like a twisty track like Vietnam, I set the downforce up higher, because
Yeah.
that's like a very critical part of the car, the downforce. I'm
I
pretty
mean,
much a noob when it comes to that.
my setup, I left the downforce as it was. I moved my front wing up too, and then the only thing that I changed was like I made the suspension stiffer, and I made the ride height higher, and
Ah,
yeah, I've raised the tire pressures as well, and that's the only thing pretty much. And the car was really good, to be honest. It just went, and I didn't have to correct anywhere. Yeah,
yeah, I was honestly surprised that my car did well with a dry setup, mostly, because it's a very touchy subject when it car setups, because you need to fine tune it to the best you can to get the maximum potential, and
yeah,
it's more of an art than a skill. It takes a lot to master, especially if you're at the top.
yeah,
We're competing in leagues, because every second counts, and it's been evident that in recent weeks, especially with penalties being dished out like confetti,
yeah.
then it's it's crucial. It's crucial.
Okay, so we have lap 16 now. You are in a battle with Billy.
Yeah,
So
Billy was really testing me, and to be honest, it was the point where it's getting argy bargy. But that's going to happen in racing. To be honest, wheel to wheel action.
yeah,
It's
he
just a
tried
good
to
thing that,
overtake you, and there was a McLaren joining. I think it's race driver.
yeah,
Uh,
let's not talk about him.
and
Makes a
then
really
you
good move
joined the Alpha.
there, takes
Yeah,
advantage of my mistake, and then he chases Lasso. It's a freeway battle for fourth, and then yellow flags race driver, obviously.
yeah, he had a pretty tough race yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, so Did you get scared of the McLaren and then you made a mistake, or what happened?
No, I think I had a bad exit out of there, and I can't really blame the McLaren for that. It was ghosted, so
Yeah,
like when you ghosted in Abu Dhabi and brought out the safety
yeah.
car, I actually thought I was going to crash into it. I closed my eyes and I thought, wait, I didn't crash into that, and I realized it was ghosted because you were in the middle of the damn track, and I
Yeah,
was
and it
surprised.
wasn't a safety car. I still don't get it.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh,
It
really?
wasn't a safety car. Shabby was a safety car, and
Oh
he
yeah,
just
Shabby.
broke his
That's
front wing, and I was without both tires on the middle of the track, and it wasn't a safety car.
I don't understand. Sometimes this game is messed up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Billy was really pushing me to the limit, and he's a pretty ruthless driver. But you got to give it to him. He really puts the pressure on the other drivers, like he has in Tier Two.
Yeah. He was pretty decent in tier 2, but he made some mistakes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been commentating that. So anything else you want to say for this race, for Vietnam especially?
The there was the Shabs crashing.
Yeah.
I think it's let me find it. Then I think race driver brought out the safety car,
Yeah.
and that pretty much ruined Shabs' lead. He had a he had a 24-second lead, 25-second lead, and Los Alejos had a 32-second lead over Billy,
Mm-hmm.
who is on fresher inters. So 10 laps to go. The safety car comes out. Shabs and Alejos pit. Los Alejos goes on to the softs. Shabs plays it safe, goes for the inters. Oh geez, I forgot Mikey had a horrible crash. Oh, Shabby rammed into Mikey at the pit lane. I never noticed that until now.
And
And
he
I
still
think
won. Not on track, but he won.
no, I said Shabby, not
Oh,
Shabs.
Shabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that he fell down quite a bit because of that. I've seen
So
that.
I also pitted on that lap. Thankfully, I was in front of them, so I had nothing to worry about. Wait, yes, I was ahead of them, and all the top like 10, I think most of the drivers pitted just as the safety car came out. So
Yeah, it was
that
a
was
quite a long safety car.
it was. It felt longer than it should have been, but then again, it is near wet conditions. It was just drying up. Whereas at lap 22, it comes back. Oh geez, Billy sliding everywhere behind.
Yeah, when the grip came back and the track dried out, it felt so amazing to have grip through sector 3 and to be able to drive and to try to unlap myself. I was like closing in, and I hoped there was one more lap, so I could set the fastest lap to take a point away from someone.
For some reason, Alesso's pitted twice, and so did Billy during the safety car. I don't think they're supposed to serve drive-through penalties during pit stops.
Yeah, he
It's just
didn't
during the
know
safety car.
that you can't serve any penalties during the
Yeah,
safety
but you
car.
still finish without the penalty. 10-second penalty. Like you finished 10 seconds behind the winner. So that means he could win if that
Yeah, he could
Truth
win. Yeah,
Inquiry rescinds the penalty. Let me see here. I'm just reviewing the footage now. So those pit stops take me to second, just behind Shabs. And let me see. And then at the end of lap 22, Shabs crashes into the wall. I have footage of it. He just crashes into just the side of the outside of the penultimate corner. just at the end of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, my numbers are up. But then Billy was behind me, and the track was just about dry, so I was about to pit again, the third time for softs. And to be fair, so was Billy, despite already pitting again. So he passed me on the hairpin, the tight hairpin before sector 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so he went in the pit before me, which is not what I wanted, but what much can you do? And Shabs was behind me pitting. And then Los Alejos, we were 20 seconds ahead of Los Alejos because not everyone followed the safety car, and we just came ahead of the Mercedes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By about 1.5 seconds. And it was just a sprint to the line at the end of it. And you were down there in 13th.
Yeah, ghosting and trying to get unlapped. I got a nice DRS from you on the last lap. I think it is the only time I've used DRS in the last 7 races because they've all been wet or I've been alone. So yeah, are you competing in the Formula 2 Cup?
Yes, I should be. Yeah, I'll be competing in that for a bit of fun, for a bit of training for the next few races.
That's what's coming to us in the break from the 50% races. We'll have sprint races running normally, and we'll have this podcast every week, of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be nice. And at the end, I was just continuing then. Los Alejos, who was on the more used soft tires, was chasing me, but he was falling back every lap, and I think it was too late for him. And me and Billy were pretty much, I was on, so I could have been why he crossed the line first, but I knew he had a penalty, so I just kept pushing, just in case Shabs, who was chasing me down, he was like 6 seconds with 2 laps to go ahead of Billy, and about what? No, he was 8 seconds ahead of Billy, I think. I think the interval's showing wrong. Yeah, I'm keep thinking that I add the intervals, but no, they're the interval between each driver, not the total leader thing.
Have you tried the Formula 2 cars?
Not really. I had done them for a stream in tribute to Antoine Bear. For another person's stream, I won't mention, just in case you won't let me.
I can beep, no problem.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I think they're pretty easy to drive, even without traction control.
And they're even, just unlike Formula 1.
The hardest car to drive is the MP4 because of the turbo that's kicking in like mad. You have to manage that. Okay, I believe we've covered this race and the upcoming things.
Yeah.
This was the second episode of the ALR podcast with Logan. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
I hope we have some good racing tomorrow, and I hope we have some good racing in Formula 2 Cup. I hope we have some good racing in Tier 3. And
don't crash into me.
Yeah, I still haven't had a crash or a reporting or something like that. I am pretty clean.
I should be too.
Yeah, thanks for watching. For the viewers, thank you for joining me, Logan, and we will see ourselves in the next week's podcast.